I had a dream that somebody on BookTube made me sing with a famous artist because I had my heart broken, so that's where I am in my life. Hey friends, it's Nikki. November was a month. I made a somewhat pretty lax TBR, to be honest here. I tried to keep it as unstructured as possible because I knew that I was going to be kind of busy, but busy isn't the right word to describe it, more like totally swamped. How did I do on the Fall into Fantasy readathon? Well, I failed miserably. I knew that November was going to be kind of busy to a certain extent, but I didn't realize exactly how stressed I was going to be. I have never been so stressed in my entire life that it has physically taken a toll on my body the way that it did this month, and let me just say, that was terrifying. And then for my birthday, I got a Switch, so there goes the rest of my time for everything ever. I honestly don't even know how I'm taking the time to film this video because I have been playing Super Smash Bros. All day today, like non-stop. So because of that, I'm going to give my rather pathetic November wrap-up and then talk about the books that I am currently reading, hope to possibly finish within December. I'm trying not to make a TBR for December because it's finals and I just learned my lesson last month. You know, I said it was a pathetic reading month and I'm only saying that because I only managed to read 4 books, which is, I think, pretty good for somebody juggling as much as I was juggling in November, but I don't know, it just felt like I wasn't reading as much. Maybe it's just because of the insane amount of things that I had going on. Yeah, I don't know, November lasted like 30 years. I started off the month really great. The first book that I read was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Wow. I was a little worried going into this because I'm not really a historical fiction kind of person, and also because the hype for this was so real that I was really worried that it just wasn't going to do it for me. I got tired of waiting for a copy at the library, so I just started listening to the audiobook, and it was such an experience. It was such a great experience, I should say. I absolutely loved this book. Okay, wait, Nikki. What the fuck is a book about? 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo follows the story of this woman who is going to write the biography of the famous actress Evelyn Hugo, who is just telling the story of her life and the infamous 7 husbands that she had that everybody knows her for. That's the bare bones of it, I guess. There was just so much to love about this book. Can I just say, this was nothing like I expected it was going to be at all. Like, I don't know what I thought, but what I thought was definitely not what I got in the best way possible. I'm being super vague. I'm so sorry. I know. I love Evelyn so much. She is literally everything. She's everything. She's just everything. Cindy from Read with Cindy made, or was about to make, an alignment chart for Evelyn Hugo and realized that she fit in literally every single category, and I agree wholeheartedly. Just that woman is something else. One thing that I really appreciated about this novel is Evelyn's assertion of her sexuality, because she is bisexual and she will not let anybody erase that from her. And I know a lot of people have said, you know, Evelyn makes sure that people know I am bisexual. No, I'm not straight. No, I'm not a lesbian. This is who I am, you know. They mentioned that she was very insistent on that and that she wouldn't let anybody take that away from her, but it's kind of like me not knowing what to expect from the book as a whole. I just didn't think, I don't know what I expected here. I'm losing words. I didn't expect her to actually be as insistent as she was, which is silly. Yeah, I guess that says something about how bisexuality is represented in media. God, this was great. This was just such a great novel. I cried like 30 times. I adored it. It was most definitely a 5 out of 5 stars. Go read it. Just go read the damn book. Sorry if we just had a weird kind of shift because my camera just shut off and that happened. The next book that I read in the month of November, I mentioned in my bookish boyfriend tag, so I'll link that up in the cards if you want to go see me and Jonathan being really disgusting together. But that book is Black Iris by Elliot Wake. I don't really know how to feel about this book. I don't remember what I actually rated it, but I'm gonna assume it was like 2.5 or 3 stars or something like that. Damn, I don't even remember what the book was about, like the premise of that book. And I don't know if it's entirely because of my naturally terrible memory or just because I just didn't really know what was going on half the time. Hold on, let me like check on my rating. Dealing with emotions and never left. Ariana Grande is queen in this house, if you haven't realized by now. 3 stars, I guess, but I think this was more of a 2.5. Okay, at its root, Black Iris is a revenge story. A super, super messed up revenge story. It follows this girl. Something terrible has happened in the past. You're kind of going between the past and present. I believe from like 1 year to the one before it. It's a little bit confusing, to be honest. If you've read it, I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about with the timeline, because it won't tell you, like, it won't give you the numerical year. It'll just be like March last year, June this year, and you kind of have to map it out in your head. I don't know, something about the way that it's done is kind of confusing, or felt confusing to me anyway. In the bookish boyfriend tag, Jonathan described this book as the one with the possibly poly relationship in it, but that is because the 3 characters that you are most closely involved with have this strange, I don't want to say love triangle because they're all kind of in love with each other. Okay, so beyond that, the writing was absolutely beautiful. It was gorgeous. The first couple of chapters I was like, damn, this is gonna be my new favorite book. I can just feel it because the writing was just really great. But ultimately the dialogue is what ended up wearing me down in the end, because it just felt a little like the darkness in this book was trying a little too hard to be dark, to the point that it was a little tiresome. Because this book is messed up, like one of the most messed up books I have ever read. But at a certain point, it just started feeling like it was being messed up for the sake of being messed up. Some of the things that happened weren't entirely believable. They were just too overly cruel. Like, is everybody in this book a complete asshole? You know, like, I don't know. That kind of ruined it for me. Normally I do love a really good dark read. My fanfiction bookmarks will tell you that, but something about this just didn't click for me. But I am planning on picking up other books by the author because the writing really was gorgeous, and who knows, maybe another one will be the one that convinces me. Okay, so on to the last 2 books, which I actually have physical copies of with me. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is the one that I finished most recently, and that is Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I actually didn't read the physical book. I mean, I started to, and then I had to migrate to a audiobook because, like I said before, my month was just absolutely hectic, and the only way that I could get any reading done was through audiobook on my commute. This is a fantasy book, which means that I am going to explain it horrendously. So just in case, I'm going to link up in the cards a video that I feel does this way, way better than I ever would. And even if you find what I have to say satisfactory, I really think you should watch the video anyway, because Ellie's makeup is incredible. This is a Japanese fantasy following a girl named Yumeko, who is a half kitsune, which is like a fox deity or spirit. The temple that she is living in with the monks who raised her comes under attack one day by demons who want a piece of the scroll that the temple is protecting, because long ago the pieces of the scroll were scattered across the land so that nobody could find them and put them together again. Because as you could imagine, whoever holds the scroll of 1,000 prayers will be granted a wish, but in the wrong hands. You see where I'm going here. Anyway, so she must flee with a piece of the scroll, and on her way out she meets a guy named Tatsumi who is part of the Shadow Clan. He is a shinobi, and he wants that piece of the dragon scroll, but she just kind of doesn't tell him that she has it because she needs the protection. She can't just wander this demon-ridden land by herself. So the 2 of them embark on this journey with the different intentions, but neither of them really know that. That's kind of the best I could do here. I'm really sorry, but my brain doesn't function ever. But this book was super fun, both to listen to and to read for the tiny bit that I got to physically read for. I like the cast of characters. I particularly liked Yumiko because she's just so, maybe it's the person who played her in the audiobook, but her personality is just really, she's just good, you know? She's a good soul. There is a bit of romance in the book, but I felt like it wasn't too forced. It didn't overshadow the overall story, and I really enjoyed meeting all of the obstacles that they had in their way, whether it be other yokai or just other people who may or may not be in their way and may or may not join them. I'm being vague again for no reason. There were times that I was going in and out of focus and I kept having to rewind and re-listen to certain parts. But I don't think that was the story's own fault. I think that's my own fault because you all know how I am with fantasy. Even if it's something I'm slightly more familiar with, I just can't seem to focus. It's either that or the fact that November was just a shit show. I'm looking forward to the sequel for this, and I'm looking forward to rereading it one day eventually. Oh yeah, and I think I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. And the last book that I read, but not really the last one, but the last one on the list in this video, is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I loved this book. Oh my god, it was so cute. I'm sure everybody knows what this book is about by now because it's kind of been gaining a bit of popularity within the booktube community. But if you don't know what it's about, this story follows a woman named Stella who is on the autism spectrum, and her mother really wants her to settle down, find a boyfriend, get married, the whole 9 yards. But Stella is not entirely opposed to the idea, it's just that she's more interested in her work. Since Stella feels like she's inexperienced with romance, she decides to hire a male escort to help her get better at sex and dating. And that's the gist of it. This book was so cute. So freaking cute. It's been a while since I sat down and read a romance, and this one pulled to me probably because of the cover. I mean, look how cute it is. I do enjoy romance books, but I feel like the problem for me is that a lot of the covers have these like really ripped men on it, and it's always like the same bearded white guy on the cover, and it's just, if I'm not attracted to the person on the cover, I don't really care, you know? I'm totally, I know you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but I totally judge those books by their covers. Because, not that I think it's going to be like really cheesy or anything, but I'm just like, nah. This isn't my type of guy, so I don't really feel like reading it. I feel like I'm not going to be drawn to the love interest, you know? But this cover is really cute. I mean, look at them. That's adorable. So I was like, okay, you know, this was the first thing that kind of pulled me in and was like, oh, I'm gonna try Michael. I love Michael. Michael is so good. He just has such great intentions, and he's great at making sure that Stella is comfortable. Also, with the romance books that I've read, not all of them have had straight up sex scenes in them, and obviously due to the nature of Stella's problem, this one did, and I appreciated the hell out of them. They were pretty good sex scenes. And I also liked that Stella's older than Michael. Not by much, by like 2 years, but I appreciated that. You just never see that. I think you just never see that kind of thing in romance, or just in general, like the guy's always older, and I really appreciated that they had the girl be older this time. I flew through this. I had to put it down because I was trying to accomplish the Fall into Fantasy readathon. That didn't happen, but as soon as I picked it up again, I read it, the rest of it, in a sitting, so yeah. 5 out of 5 stars. So, December. What's happening? Well, I don't know. I have no idea what I plan on reading in December. At this point, I'm just gonna grab whatever feels most comfortable for me because finals is a really stressful time. I actually don't really have that many finals. I have Japanese, and I just found out I have a final for Shakespeare, so I guess that's a thing. 2 finals and then 2 essays to hand in. One of them is really short. It's more like a micro essay. So it's not too bad, but that Japanese final is scaring the hell out of me. So I'm gonna try to take it as easy as I can. But as for what I'm currently reading, I am in the middle of 2 fantasy books right now, which is kind of out of character for me, but I am listening to The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. That's an experience, but I guess I'll talk about that when I finish the book. And very slowly reading Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow. That I'm really enjoying, but I've only been reading it in between classes while I'm on campus, so I'm going through it really slowly. I don't even know if I'm 50 pages in yet. That's about it. Am I reading anything else? No. I started reading The Raven Boys last month. Obviously, I didn't finish the whole series like I had planned to. I didn't finish anything that I wanted to finish last month, of course. I'm okay with that because I want to go through it slowly. I've started annotating my copy of it and it just feels really nice. I'm just gonna end this video right here. Let me know what you guys read in November, if you read any of the books that I read in November, how you felt about them, and what are your plans for the end of the year in terms of books, I mean, of course. I mean, if you have any big New Year's plans, also let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video even though it was a little different than what I normally do in terms of wrap-ups and TBRs, but if you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will leave all of my social media down below, particularly Twitter if you want to talk to me or try, I guess, because the second I turn off this camera, I am going to go back to playing Smash, and I don't know if I'm gonna stop for hours. You know what, while we're at it, if you play Super Smash Brothers, I don't care if it's the most recent one or like any of them, let me know who you main down below, because I just got Isabelle, and okay, I will see you guys next time. Bye.